What's up, gamers? It's Jordan. I'm bringing you that top 10 list I talked about. Little disclaimer here: I play my games on a PlayStation 4, so I figured all the games on this top 10 list are universal on all platforms. But that does mean that there won't be, or there's not going to be any exclusives on my list. The Order 1886 and Uncharted 4 are on my list in here because I have a PlayStation 4. Regardless, I wasn't following them as hard as I was these top 10. It also means that I'm not interested in Halo 5, which I probably wouldn't be interested in anyways, or the Fable re releases, or any of the rest of that stuff for Xbox. So, we're going to start it off right here with my top 10 list of games that I'm hoping come out in 2014. My number 10 pick on the top 10 list is going to be Batman the Arkham Knight. Batman the Arkham Knight made my list for two reasons. One of which, Rocksteady has promised us a new villain, one created specifically for the purpose of playing this role in this video game, which I'm really hoping means they're going to stick to this the Joker is dead thing, and we're not going to see some sort of resurrection from the Lazarus pit or anything like that. The second thing is that they are allowing us to take the Batmobile for a spin, which is every Batman fan's dream come true in a video game. We can now take our jet-powered Batmobile into the streets of Gotham and use it as a weapon to fight crime. Now, this game is going to be very heavily watched by me. I am a little queasy and on edge about the fact that Harley Quinn is a confirmed villain in this game. Because in my experience, Harley Quinn is only ever seen with the Joker. Now, in this one, she might have a little bit of motivation to be in here on her own stakes if she holds Batman responsible for the Joker's death. Or it could just be that when the Joker died, she had a lack of leadership and she naturally fell towards the other confirmed villains, which I believe are Two-Face, Penguin, Scarecrow, and the Riddler. So I guess we'll wait and we'll see how this game plays out. I know it looks great. They said they've made some minor changes to the combat system, but they've done that in the past, and none of it's ever really been offsetting. I've never been disappointed with any of the combat mechanic changes. I'm really excited to see some of these new gadgets that they're talking about, but I am really excited to see how this Arkham Knight plays out. I just don't want to see it become some sort of a Scarecrow fear toxin induced hallucination because of Batman's extreme loss that he's feeling in this game to not having the Joker around. So we will see how this plays out. I'm keeping my eye on it, and I'll keep you guys updated with everything I learn. My number 9 choice is the remastered version of the Metro games. It was really hard for me to put this game in my top 10 list, but I feel like I owe it to you guys to bring this to your attention if you don't know about the Metro series. I recently stumbled across it when it came up as a free game on the PlayStation Plus membership, and I'm really happy that I downloaded it because it is a new take on the first-person genre and a nice change of pace from Call of Duty or Battlefield or any of the rest of those copy and paste games. It adds horror and survival elements along with a really well done stealth system and some really cool in-game mechanics, including having to wipe blood and water off of your gas mask once you enter the post-apocalyptic surface of Russia. The story itself is really well done. I haven't got to play 2033. I did play Last Light, and it was amazing. Traveling into this oppressed underground sewage-looking areas and traveling through and avoiding the other two factions of soldiers that control those metro stations, and then having to explore the top side while trying to hide and avoid from these monsters that you can, with a little bit of strategy, kill, but for the most part, you'd really like to just avoid them, especially on harder difficulties. This game is easily one of the best first-person shooters I've ever played, and if you guys haven't played any of them in the past, I would highly recommend this to any fan of the genre. Scavenging around for audio logs and listening to conversations in-game while you're playing add elements to the first-person shooter that Call of Duty just doesn't do as well. Hearing the oppression from other citizens was a really nice touch. I'm definitely looking forward to this. And for, I believe, $49.99 is the sticker price for both games. It's a must buy on my list. All right, the number 8 choice on my list is going to be Destiny. Destiny was a must-have on my list. I was not always a PlayStation fanboy. I did enjoy Halo 1 and Halo 2, and I was really anxious to see when I heard Bungie was going to branch out and try something new, and it was going to be multi-platform. I was anxious to see what them and Activision had in store for us, and they carried out the call with the creation of Destiny. Now, granted, it has been pushed back from its previous release. The trailers look beautiful, and the ideology behind having it as kind of a cross MMO is one that definitely sits high with me. I love seeing it when companies try something new, or even when companies try something that has failed in the past, but they feel like they can do it better, and I think that's what we're going to be looking at with Destiny. Everything looks really well done. Multiple classes, multiple customization options, and it's not always going to force you into a team-based environment. Being able to only team up at required times in the storyline is one that I appreciate very much so. I am watching this one anxiously, and I cannot wait for its release. The number 7 choice on my list is Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I feel like the Shadow of Mordor is going to be the Lord of the Rings game that fans have been wanting and have deserved for a very long time. A standalone story taking place after The Hobbit and before the events of the Fellowship of the Ring. You are a ranger of Gondor, stationed at the border of Mordor to keep your eye on Sauron and his forces. And just as they begin to start making an uprising again, they attack your unit. Through details unknown at this point to me, you will end up gaining the powers of a ring wraith, and that will be the focus for your battle style. Using the wraith's powers, you can instill fear into orcs and send them running back to their leaders with messages of your coming, or you can manipulate them into attempting to assassinate their leaders for you and let them do the dirty work. They have also implemented a really cool sounding system called the Nemesis system. And basically what it does is it allows enemies to remember previous encounters with you and how you handled it. If you completely decimate an orc in his army, the next time you approach him, he's going to attempt to flee once he doesn't feel his numbers are going to save him. And if he totally beats you the last time you guys faced off, then he is going to go in a headstrong approach with the knowledge that he is stronger than you, and he is going to attempt to fight you and finish you once and for all. This game caught my eye as I was skimming through YouTube. I don't remember what I was looking for. Gameplay came up on it. I really think you guys should check it out. The initial thought that I had watching it was kind of an Assassin's Creed clone, but once I saw the Wraith system in use and I heard about the Nemesis system, the title automatically stood out as its own game. I am anxiously looking forward to this, and fans of this trilogy and the Hobbit series should also keep their eye on this game right here. My number 6 choice for the list was Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain. Let's get this out of the way right off the bat. I have not played the previous Metal Gear games. I became a fan of the series while I was watching a buddy play Ground Zeroes, which released earlier this year, and where I did see that it was on the short side of the really short side of the ballpark area, I was immediately excited about this game coming out. 200 times the size of Ground Zeroes, The Phantom Pain is the final campaign for Big Boss, the ending of his story. And I haven't done a whole lot of research about what the previous games did or the storylines to the previous games, because I am really hoping that this game draws me in and immerses me to the point that I can't help but go out and buy the previous titles to experience the story for myself. So I'm not ruining it looking it up online. I'm not ruining it watching previous gameplay. The only thing I have seen is some of the gameplay from Ground Zeroes and the trailers that I've seen for The Phantom Pain, and I'm excited about it. This looks like a Game of the Year contender by far. Really well done stealth missions, seamlessly integrated cutscenes. This is one that is on my radar, and anyone who's following gaming has probably got this up in their radar and up on the top of their list as well. My number 5 choice is a tricky one because it hasn't been revealed yet. Number 5 is going to be the Ed Boon Reveal. I literally cannot say a whole lot about my number 5 choice because I am unsure yet of what it is. Is it a new Mortal Kombat game? Is it an Injustice 2? Is it a cross-platform? Is it a new DC versus Mortal Kombat? Nobody knows yet. Ed Boon has been counting this down on his Twitter site for quite some time, and he has dropped multiple hints going in different directions. Ed Boon and company definitely seems to like having some fun at excited gamers' expense. But after seeing the job that they did on Mortal Kombat 9 and seeing Injustice, I don't really care what he reveals. It is probably going to stay on the top 5 of my list. Ed Boon and company does a really good job, and I am sure that whatever title they bring out is going to be an excellent addition to what I will assume is going to be the fighter genre. My number 4 choice is Tom Clancy's The Division. I was devastated when I found out that Tom Clancy's The Patriot had been canceled. However, from the ashes arose a new title, Tom Clancy's The Division, utilizing the Snowdrop engine for dynamic lighting and visual effects. Shooting windshields won't just shatter them and break them and cause the car to blow up. It will put actual bullet holes in the glass and in the headlights where you're shooting at. And lighting will genuinely reflect through those holes better than it will other parts of the windshield. The game looks amazing. Set right after Black Friday when a virus breaks out throughout America. You are tasked as part of the Division to ensure the future of humanity through any means necessary. I am really, really anxious to see how they use this. Are we going to have options or choices in who lives and who dies, or how resources are spread out? And if we don't have the choices, I would really at least like to see my character have to make those decisions. I would like this game to be one that hits home really, really hard, because this is based off of real world events. I'm excited. An MMO style game where you can pair up with up to 3 people to explore the world, with PvP elements as you combat other members of, I assume, other divisions. Or I would also like to see how that storyline plays out. You're part of a division to ensure the future. So what is everybody else in the world, and why are we combating them or working with them? I'm anxious to see how it goes. I'm anxious to see what kind of rewards and customization and storyline we get to see here. And I am looking forward to the release of this game whenever it does come out. Number 3 on my top 10 list is Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen is a title that I hold very dear to my heart. It caused the creation of my very first YouTube video, as I couldn't let a game that looked this beautiful continue to go with as little attention as it was getting. And I'm really hoping that gamers out there saw my video and said, hey, that looks like a really good game, and they've began following it themselves. And I'm really hoping that some of you out here like what you're seeing and go check out that first video that I made, as it does contain a lot more depth in the regards of the storyline and some of the unique systems in this game. Set 1,000 years after mankind defeated the god that was oppressing him, or oppressing them, and sent their Rogar lords packing. The land has gotten to the brink of peace, and all of a sudden these lords start reappearing and just destroying everything, and you are sent to go find out what's going on in a let's combat evil with evil scenario as you traverse through a semi-open world. There's going to be 3 dimensions, and to me the most interesting one is the demonic dimension. And if you look at the clip art and you look at the gameplay, I guarantee you, if you rehear the word demonic dimension, you are going to be riddled with questions on how is it going to look, what are they going to do with it. The game is beautiful. I love everything I see. I am a huge fan of the Souls series, and so were the developers, but they wanted to make a game that was challenging but not overly punishing. A really solid mixture in between the Souls level of difficulty and other games that are easier for casual gamers to get into. I'm a huge fan of everything that they've started doing. I love the gameplay that I've seen. I've loved what I've heard in the regards of the reward systems for defeating certain bosses with certain strategies. I really love this rage system that they've got going on with it, where if a boss deals so much damage to you in a small period of time, he will go into a rage mode, and that will limit the rewards that you get a little bit. Kind of like a punishment for allowing yourself to get punished. Um, if you're into Western RPGs, if you're into the Souls series, if you're into gaming in general, I highly advise that you look for this title at E3 and at least hear these guys out and see what they have to offer with their title. And I guarantee it is a title that will make your top 10 list and one that you will begin following, which is why it is ranked so highly on mine. If this would have been an established IP, it probably would have been ranked higher. But the two games I have up top are established IPs that I have played the previous titles for, and I'm really anxious to see how they end up closing them out. The number 2 title on my list is Dragon Age Inquisition. Take all of the customization and the races that you loved from the first Dragon Age game, add the voice acting from the second game and the what I felt was improved combat from the second game, and sprinkle in some open world adventuring from Skyrim, and you've got yourself Dragon Age Inquisition. Set after the events of the second Dragon Age, an explosion allowing demons to come from the Fade into the real world occurs, and no one knows what happened. On top of that, you will spend your storyline trying to figure out why you are the only person out of thousands of people that were at ground zero to survive. You will form your own Inquisition, customizing your bases of operations and having dynamic decisions to make, all the way up to choosing whether or not you save certain villages or not. And once the mission is completed, you'll actually go back down to that village and you will see what you let happen. You didn't step in to help those people. You decided to go for the greater good and for the good of the Inquisition, and this town suffered for it. And in the gameplay trailer released, Varric takes it very personally to heart. I am anxious to see what BioWare brings to the table with this one. I know second Dragon Age 2 was kind of a letdown, but they've kind of put out there that we made that game so that we could make this game right here. This one's going to be their prize, their joy. It looks beautiful. I'm really anxious to see what kind of storyline they go with and how everything plays out. There are supposed to be cameo appearances from characters in the first and second game, including Morrigan, the Witch of the Wild. Did I mention that there's going to be dragons in this Dragon Age title? I highly advise you keep your eye on this if you like RPGs. My number 1 choice is The Witcher 3. I did speak a little too soon because I didn't get to play the previous Witcher 2 game that came out, as they canceled the PlayStation 3 port. However, it has been confirmed that The Witcher 3 will be on PlayStation 4, so I'll finally get my hands on this beautiful looking, mature Western RPG as we play Geralt, who has received his memories back and is currently searching for those that he considers loved ones and kin, and he also battles off this other force that is a threat to humankind. Developers have come out and said that the main storyline for this game will take roughly 50 hours. That's just for the main storyline. That is a lot of content. This game is supposed to be huge. This thing could be better than Skyrim in the regards of RPG play. And I know my comments are filling up. I'm not saying that Skyrim is the best RPG ever made. I am simply saying that a lot of people hold RPGs to Skyrim standards. And I believe The Witcher 3 may very well become the next standard that we hold Western RPGs to. 50 hours for the main storyline, 36 different endings, and if you want to complete the entire, including the extra content on a playthrough, that is going to run you between 100 and 120 beautifully, visually appealing hours. If you have not looked into this game, and like me, you haven't played the previous games, I would definitely start turning your focus towards this one. It is my #1 on the list for multiple reasons, but one of those standout reasons is that these developers took the time to create 36 different endings. Even if not all those endings are good, most developers don't take the time to come up with one good ending. These guys came up with 36 that they feel are good endings. I highly recommend anyone who is a fan of RPGs, Skyrim, the previous Witcher games, you guys should start keeping your eye out on this title right here. So there you guys have it. That's my top 10 list. I want to kind of throw this apology in there right now. I didn't want to disappoint anybody that might have been looking forward to this list. But with my kids all being out of school, I'm having a real hard time getting some quiet time to sit down and do this. So a few of the clips, you probably hear them in the background, or their cartoons or games or whatever background noise you guys end up picking up. I also want to throw out some honorable mentions. These are games that I'm just thinking of off the top of my head. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, The Crew, The Order 1886 is on my list. Uncharted 4 is on my list. There's a ton more games I'm following, and if I missed any that you guys are following heavily, please feel free to leave it on my comments, or you can follow me on Twitter, named Jordan Roby, at R4L4Y_Roby, ROBY. Leave me a message on Twitter or whatever, and let me know what games you're looking at. I'll start looking at them, and if they interest me, I'll keep my eye on them at E3, and I'll probably end up doing some videos on them so that other people can follow them. So hopefully you guys shared some interest, subscribe, and we can all kind of follow these games together, and I will see you guys on the next episode.